Friday, November 3. This is the news on PBCJ. I am Simone Absalom. There is a call for volunteers to submit proposals to the Youth Ministry as part of this year's recognition of Youth Month. The initiative is part of a competition where the top 3 proposals will be given funding. Minister of State in the Ministry of Education with responsibility for youth, Floyd Green, officially launched the competition yesterday.
So I say to my young people, go out there, look across the community, choose an early childhood institution, put together your video, get together in a group, send it in, and work as hard as possible.
The competition was launched in Denham Town, a community now classified as a zone of special operation. Minister Green says the location was chosen for a reason.
We found it quite fitting to come here to launch this volunteer project because we recognize that solving crime is not about the Ministry of National Security. Solving crime is really addressing the social issues that plague our community. That is what the zone of special operation is about. It's about taking a multi-sectoral approach to ensuring that we get to the root causes of crime.
Founder and chairman of Youth Inspiring Positive Change, Neville Charlton, says youngsters should get involved in community development because it opens up avenues of opportunities for growth. At the same time, he says the government and private sector should do more to inspire the nation's youth.
I think within communities they need some more capacity building workshops because the thing is you can't tell young persons to just go there and make a difference and they don't know how to do it. They are not encouraged, they are not empowered. So the first thing that organizations, civil organizations, parliamentarians, anybody, right from one side that capacity, empower young persons to make a difference and one from us give them the skills and the knowledge available that themselves. It's like a chain reaction.
The volunteer project proposal competition's deadline is November 14. Malfunctioning of elevators at the Kingston Public, National Chest and Spanish Town hospitals have reportedly severely hampered surgeries and movement of patients. The problem is to be corrected in the next 6 months, following the signing of contracts valued at $44.9 million for the replacement of the lifts. The scope of works includes removing old components from existing elevator shafts and installing new mechanisms. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tofton says the replacement of the elevators will provide critical logistics support to the hospitals.
It is a signaling of our intention as a government, as a country, to modernizing or bringing healthcare and the capacity to respond to the healthcare needs of our population into modern times.
According to Dr. Tofton, the improvements are in keeping with government's efforts to upgrade the island's health sector. Jamaica is to host a high-level Caribbean forum that will focus on unique issues facing the region and opportunities that can be found. The forum is being organized by the Washington-based International Monetary Fund, IMF, in partnership with the government of Jamaica. It will be held under the theme, Unleashing Growth and Strengthening Resilience in the Caribbean. The November 16th event will be attended by several Caribbean community leaders as well as former prime ministers. There will be a series of panel discussions examining ways of boosting socio-economic performances in the Caribbean, crime, and unemployment. The family of Wentworth Graham is seeking answers from the management of the Spanish Town Hospital after his body was found on a beach in St. Catherine. Mr. Graham, who was 48 years of age, was reportedly rushed to the accident and emergency ward of the hospital on Saturday, October 28, and admitted the following day. On Monday, October 30, his family reportedly received a call from the hospital that he had checked himself out of the hospital. A report was made at the Spanish Town police station. The family also launched a search, reportedly without the assistance of the police. His body was found on a beach in St. Catherine on Tuesday, October 31. His family is demanding answers from the hospital. They want to know how was he able to check himself out, given his medical condition. They are asking for evidence that he did, in fact, sign himself out of the hospital. The hospital is reportedly carrying out an internal investigation into the matter. Wentworth Graham had been employed to the Jamaica Stock Exchange, JSE, since 2001 and was promoted to Chief Regulatory Officer for the Regulatory and Market Oversight Division on April 1, 2008. He filed a claim against the JSE and its managing director, Marlene Street Forrest, in the Supreme Court, alleging breaches of his employment contract, and sought through the Industrial Disputes Tribunal, IDT, to block a suspension which the JSE sought to impose in January, as well as any other actions that could be taken against him. The IDT hearing was slated to begin September 19, but was reportedly adjourned to an undetermined date for clarification of the terms of reference. The background to a case filed in the Supreme Court states that, in performing his duties, Graham was vested with the power to raise matters of concern without fear of reprisal or conflicts of interest. The document states, quote, "The appellant was not only promoted, but in a letter dated December 12, 2016, received commendation for the quality of his work." The JSE's expressions of gratitude to the appellant for his hard work and contribution, which positively impacted the company's excellent performance for 2016, transformed that same month to questions being raised about his efficiency. This drastic transformation seemingly coincided with the appellant's persistence in requiring the JSE to submit an amended report of the shareholding of its directors, senior managers, and their connected parties, end quote. It stated further that Graham's letter had apparently, quote, incurred the wrath, end quote, of his superiors and resulted in their, quote, swift and sudden diminished view, end quote, of his performance. The Caribbean Love Now Jamathon, featuring some of the biggest names in reggae, dancehall, and soca, is slated for November 22 in Kingston. The Caribbean Love Now Jamathon is a benefit concert. Organizers are hoping to raise money and awareness for countries in the Caribbean hardest hit by hurricanes Irma and Maria. The Jamathon will be shown on television channels across the Caribbean and is going to be streamed online. The concert's lineup includes Assassin, Beanie Man, Bunji Garlin, Bunny Wailer, Christopher Martin, D Major, Devin Decata, Itana, Raging Fire, Richie Spice, Remain Virgo, Sizzler, Third World, Mr. Vegas, and Dean Fraser. It will be hosted by Tommy Cohen. In regional news, we go to Guyana, where members of the main opposition People's Progressive Party, PPP, staged a protest in Parliament on Thursday to voice their dissatisfaction with the recent appointment of retired Justice James Patterson as the chairman of the Guyana Elections Commission. Waving placards, the opposition legislators heckled President David Granger as he made his presentation.
Have reduced post-harvest losses and led to lower commodity prices. Water harvesting is being promoted in the Rupununi region in order to ensure that adequate amounts of water are available during the long dry season. Farmers are benefiting from improvements in drainage through the installation of pumps in the main agricultural regions, Pomeroon, Supinam, Demram, Haika.
There were also protesters outside the parliament, and PPP leader Bharat Jagdeo said they will be keeping up the pressure on the government.
What our non-cooperation means. So we're going to be escalating this slowly, but we are very cognizant that we have a case in the court too. So we are going to draw attention to the legal, unconstitutional action of the president. We've already started doing so with the diplomatic community, and these activities would highlight to the country how strongly we feel about values of democracy, freedom, etc.
However, Prime Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu says Jagdeo's position is uneducated.
Are doing what happens in every democracy. They have a right to dissent, and don't think it's a greetings for me.
But they're holding out that the move by the president to appoint the GCOM chairman was unconstitutional, and the opposition leader is still pushing that point.
I think that's what Jagdeo was pushing. I don't think that's what the people understand. They're following a leader who tells them these things, you know, and if they fall for it, it's part of their response to their party leader. But the party leader is wrong. He has given a very uneducated opinion.
Why is he wrong?
His opinion is uneducated. There's nothing unconstitutional about what the president does. The president did what the Constitution says he ought to do.
Over in Dominica, regional security forces will remain in the hurricane-ravaged country at least until the end of the year. The disclosure came from Police Chief Daniel Carbon as he addressed a press briefing. He praised the regional security system, the RSS, for maintaining order in the island since it was struck by a Category 5 hurricane. This year, they have assisted in clamping down on looting and other crimes in the aftermath of the disaster.
We have 323 regional military personnel here, and my gratitude is so profound to them that for their assistance in helping the CDPF, Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force, to stabilize the security situation post-Maria. And I've had the occasion to address the individual military contingents from the various countries here. And it's one thing I said to them, and I hope they understand, that the meaning of their assistance, because all of us have been hearing, we all heard. But it's one thing I can see is the Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force could not have brought the situation under control had it not been with the assistance and presence of the regional forces.
RSS forces will also be part of Dominica's independence celebration today. However, the hurricane recovery is a priority, and the police chief says the celebrations will have to be scaled down.
But with the passage of Hurricane Maria, it has imposed on us extensive, strenuous duties. Duties that we have to perform long hours. And so we have to draw down the parade. But the parade, even if it is drawn down, is going to be solid. It is going to be solid because we have all the regional forces taking part on the parade.
Those were the local and regional stories. Sports is next. In sports, we are on the pitch with cricket as the second test match between the West Indies and Zimbabwe in Bulawayo ended in a draw. Wicket-keeper Regis Chakabva put up an unbeaten knock that curtailed the Windies' victory. Here is the roundup.
The right-handed Chakabva remained unbeaten on 71 and was accompanied by captain Graham Kramer on 28. The pair had added 91 for the 8th wicket to end the match on 301 for 7. Starting the day confident of victory at Queen's Sports Club, West Indies managed to take just 3 Zimbabwe wickets before the match was abandoned midway through the final session. The right-hander, who also scored a half-century in the first innings, added just 4 to his interval score before he was bowled by captain and seamer Jason Holder by one that nipped back off a length to claim off stump. His dismissal ended a 38-run stand for the 7th wicket with Chakabva. Fast bowler Shannon Gabriel and Kimar Roach, along with the leg spinner Devendra Bishu, took 2 wickets.
West Indies tipped the series 1-0 after winning the first test 9 days ago by 117 runs. Despite not getting a clean sweep they were hoping for, head coach Stuart Law was pleased.
They fought really hard, but I'm super proud of Jace, the way he's led this team, the way our boys have played, and particularly very happy for a number of our players, but in particular Devendra Bishu, who man of the series, coming from England after a tough series to come here and get man of the series is a great effort. I thought Shane Darrich has been outstanding. His glove work behind the stumps and that 100, his first ever, was a great knock to watch. So very proud of our boys.
Athletes from here and abroad are set to display their talent at the annual Jamaica Gymnastics Association Jamaica Classic in a bid to make Jamaica's team, as the meet will be used as a national trials for juniors. The Jamaica Classic will be contested in 3 categories. Action on today's first day of the 3-day meet is set to begin at 2 p.m. at the National Indoor Sports Center, and tomorrow's and Sunday's action is scheduled to start at 10 a.m. In other news, South African prosecutors will today argue for Oscar Pistorius to be given a longer jail sentence, saying the 6 years he's serving for the murder of his girlfriend was, quote, shockingly low, end quote. The National Prosecution Authority will present its case to a 1-day hearing at the Supreme Court of Appeal in Bellefontaine. Pistorius, who's 30 years old, is the Paralympic athlete who shot dead girlfriend Riva Steenkamp in 2013 when he fired 4 times through the door of his bedroom toilet. He pleaded not guilty at the trial in 2014 and has always denied that he killed Steenkamp in a rage, saying he mistook her for a burglar. Pistorius was originally convicted of culpable homicide, the equivalent of manslaughter, but the appeal court upgraded his conviction to murder in 2015. The minimum sentence for murder in South Africa is 15 years, but he was sentenced in 2016 to 6 years due to mitigating factors, including his claim he believed he was shooting an intruder. And that's the news. Do stay with us. The weather report is next. This is PBCJ's weather report. Thanks so much for staying with us. Let's start as usual with our local currents. Today we're looking at an average temperature between 28 and 31 degrees Celsius, and we're also seeing a forecast of scattered showers. Let's look at our forecast for tonight. Tonight we can see an average temperature between 23 and 26 degrees Celsius. You should also plan for a rainy night because we're seeing scattered showers across most parishes. Tomorrow we can expect an average temperature between 29 and 31 degrees Celsius. And if you're intending to get out of your house, please plan accordingly because we're seeing a forecast of rainfall for the weekend. And in our regional forecast, we're seeing scattered showers across the region, rainfall over there in Antigua, in Cuba, over there in the Bahamas as well. We're seeing cloudy conditions in Santo Domingo with a little bit of sunshine. We're also expecting an average temperature over the weekend between 27 and 29 degrees Celsius. In our travel forecast, we're looking to Europe at first. We're seeing a minimum temperature at 5 degrees Celsius with a high of 20 degrees Celsius between London, Madrid, Paris, and Rome. If you're traveling to those countries, you can expect showers in London, Madrid, and Paris. Looking to the United States, we're seeing a minimum temperature of 5 degrees Celsius with a high at 29 degrees Celsius in Los Angeles, Miami, New York, and Atlanta. We're also expecting sunny skies in New York, but you could have some rainfall in Los Angeles and Miami. And that's it for the weather report. Thanks so much for making it PBCJ. Have a pleasant weekend.